Hey guys, hi to all my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing. To all the new subscribers and old subscribers, I hope you're doing all well. And for all those in between, today we're going to talk about, in this video, about the dogs and the wild animals and other possibilities. Okay, I love your comments. I love reading them. Well, I love it being read to me. Sorry I can't get to you straight away. I will get to you. It's just I have to wait for someone to read them to me. Right? I'm trying to get this program that helps you read. But you know them ones that they do for blind people, semi-blind people, it keeps crashing the system for some reason. So I'm looking out there for that. So thank you for everyone who said about the luminous light. Thank you, because I didn't know what they were called. So thank you very much for that. And let's get on with the video, shall we? Okay, the dogs and the wild animals, and why not? So let's do this. Don said very clearly when he was talking about the dogs that the dogs wasn't there. Right? He said the dogs wasn't there. So let me give you a scenario. Right? Summer's got her little doggy. Right? Let's see if I can draw it. Right. Right, that'll do. So Summer's got it. I did them skinny because I should do some ribs actually, because they're hardly fed and they're used to sell puppies. But let's do this, right? So Summer has her little doggy, right? She calls it Yucky because she can't say the word lucky, right? So it goes everywhere with Summer, okay? There's also a pack of dogs. So when you have a pack of dogs, and people keep using the word they're wild dogs, they're not. And I'll explain why. When the parents are domesticated, they will teach their puppies the domesticated way, not the wild way. Right? So for the dog's parents to teach them wild hunting and survival, they would have to know it, and their parents would have to know it. And the whole point of domesticating a dog was to take that wildness out of them so they could have been easily trained and stuff. So dogs do not naturally survive in the wild on their own because we've made them that way. Cruel, but we've made them that way. Right? Because if you have a dog that has a little bit of wild in them, they can be unpredictable in a lot of ways. Right? I wish they talked to Caesar or talked to Zach George or someone like that who trains dogs for a living, and they would explain it better. Right? But I have had dogs all my life, service dogs, and I have trained with them. So I know quite a lot about that side of things. So Summer's had this Yucky. I'm going to call it Yucky because Summer loves it, right? Summer has this Yucky dog, right? Her favourite. It's her dog. She loves it. She cuddles it. You see her in pictures, right? So here comes the possibilities. Now, guys, I'm going to give you a trigger warning. This is going to be kind of sick. It's taken me 4 days to do this. 4 days. And in the meantime, I have cried. I have vomited. Because I've had visions in my head and it's made me sick. But it has to be done. So I'm warning you now. This is going to be horrific. These ideas are going to be out there, horrific. I'm not saying it happened, but I'm saying if it did happen, this will explain a lot. Okay? And it's also going to be why didn't the parents say anything like this, because it would have been easier on them. Okay? So this is a trigger warning. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to make up your mind. Either skip this to the end, to the middle bit, or don't watch it. I'm telling you, it's not nice. It's not. It's not going to be nice. It's going to be sick. It's taken me a while to get my head around it. I've had nightmares and everything, okay? But I've had to do it because it's part of it, right? So I'm just warning you guys, it ain't nice. It isn't. I have been... How I come to this conclusion, the thing is, I had to go and see videos of wild attacks, animals attacking wild, dogs that have... well, I'll explain how I did this video after I've told you, because then if I explain how I did the video, it will explain the video, and then there'll be no need for the video, right? So that's what I'm going to do for you. But please, 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 I'm telling you, it's really poorly. It's really sick. But I have to do this video. I have to be fair, and I have to do this video. Okay? Here we go. Now, Don said very clearly, because everyone's been asking, well, what about the dogs? Why didn't the dogs stop the perpetrator? Don very clearly said that the dogs wasn't there. When he pulled up, no dogs was on the property. Now, if you remember in one of my videos, I made it very clear that the dogs see Summer as a pack member, a weaker pack member, right? And I said, if something happened to Summer, the dogs would follow Summer. They would follow Summer. So the time them dogs were missing, they could have been with Summer. And them not looking for the dogs, them not knowing where the dogs have gone, would have put Summer in danger. Them not believing that dogs are intelligent and that they're just like the children, disgusting things that just need to be fed all the time, and you know, most of their time be taken up by these animals and these children. If they would have just stopped to think, hold on a minute, the dogs have gone. Could the dogs be with Summer? Could the dogs have gone to Summer because Summer's hurt herself? Could the dogs be going to Summer and sitting with Summer while she's slowly dying and coming back and forth to try and get their attention, and everyone's ignoring them? Probability, 99.9%. 99.9%. If the dogs come back battered, could they have been protecting Summer's body from animals, other wild animals, trying to take pieces of her dead body? Or was she still alive, sedated, not able to shout because of injuries? So the dogs were there protecting her from bear attacks, from coyote attacks, from snake attacks. And that's why they come back battered and bruised and hungry. Are the dogs still going to Summer? Bobby Fryer, its dog Bobby, Fryer's dog Bobby, went to his master's grave for 15 years until the pup passed away from old age on the grave. Dogs in the pack, dogs see, especially in the pack, if someone's feeding them, someone's giving them loves, someone's like hanging out with the puppies, hanging out with the older dogs, they're going to see the children as part of their pack. And they're going to see, that's why maybe they don't want them in the house. Maybe the reason why they don't want them coming in and out the house is because if Candice hits or shouts or attacks one of the kids, the dogs might attack them in a pack. That would be more unlikely, because that's what the dogs are there for. Have you ever seen these programs where it's me or the dog, and one of the dogs protect the one that they sort of see as the weakest out of the two, and people go near him and they growl and bark. Like a young girl's dog was with that 24/7, and she was very sick and poorly. And every time her mum come in to give her soup or shout at her if she was being naughty or eating something she shouldn't have eaten, the dog would attack the mum, would attack the brother. And that's because dogs naturally protect the weaker. So if your dog sees you as a weaker partner, they will protect you. That's what they would do to protect the pack. Right? They see you as one of them. They don't see, dogs don't discriminate. They don't discriminate because you walk on two legs and haven't got fear. They don't discriminate because we're stupid human beings and you know, they're more intelligent than we are, but we believe we're more intelligent than they are. They don't discriminate on our looks. They don't discriminate if we feel well or not. They don't discriminate on anything apart from, are you able to fight, or do you need the pack to protect? That's the only two things. And then they put you in your place. Can you hunt? What's good for the pack is where they put you. So if you're a good hunter, they'll put you in front of the pack. If you're a bit weaker, a bit slower, maybe disabled or something like that, they'll put you with the puppies in their heads. So Summer being only 5 years old, and the boys, and all of them looking after the pups and stroking the pups, because obviously they don't care if the dogs are there or not. It's mostly because the kids care, right? They're all related. All the dogs are inbred related. So it's not like you're going to get a wild dog that's going to mate with the instinct of that wild dog, because the pack is too strong for a wild dog to come up and mate. That wouldn't be allowed. Mother Nature has a way. People say, well, hold on a minute, a wolf pack, right? Do they interbreed? No. In the wild, animals don't interbreed. In the wild, they, when the males become a certain age, they get kicked out to find their own and start their own pride, or their own breed, or their own pack, right? Same with lions, right? You won't see in lions two males. You will see a younger male, but that they'll be ready to leave to start their own pride. So you'll never see in the wild alpha male and alpha female having relations with their sons or daughters, because Mother Nature isn't about to make everything handicapped and everything misborn and misfire. If you get a brother and sister dog and you bring it in to your environment, they'll fight more than they would mate. Siblings fight. That's the point. They're not meant to love each other and care for each other. After a certain age, siblings start to fight from the day they're born. Fight for the milk, fight for the mother's teats, fight for the positions. Then as they get to 8-9 weeks, they become aggressive to each other and start bullying each other and that, because there's got to be hate there, so they don't breed. So anyone who's had dogs or breeded dogs will know that this is why they say between 8 and 12 weeks you need to remove the pups, because keeping them there would cause the siblings to attack each other, and that's when you're going to get the pack attacking other dogs. Now they say, oh, they're attacking the weak. It's not. What they're doing is they're doing their natural instinct. You're throwing a pack together and they can't mate, so they're frustrated, they're angry, so the attack, and then they get pushed out, they go off and they find something else. Because if you're living in a comfortable place where your mummy and daddy puppies, you know, your mummy and daddy's bringing you food all the time, they go hunting, you'll get lazy. And in the wild, you can't get lazy. Everybody's got to have a job. And this is why Everyone says, why is Guardian nice and comfortable? Why is he happy? Why is he just such a calm, relaxed dog? Why is that when there's thunder coming and children screaming and he's just relaxed? Because he's on his own, right? So he's comfortable in his pack. He doesn't go nowhere. He doesn't need to go anywhere. He's got a job, 24 hours. His job is to A, make sure that my medical conditions don't get out of control. B, to make sure I eat and drink. So from the moment he wakes up to the moment he sleeps, it's his job to make sure that I'm safe. My job is to make sure he's fed, watered, and kept warm. Taken for a walk, and he's happy in his environment, and the environment's clean, and he's happy, and he has a few treats. He has his favourite food, and that does him. And I make sure his medical care is taken care of, make sure he's been injected, make sure he's groomed, you know, stuff like that. And we work together. So he's content. So when another dog comes up, he's not threatened by that dog. So that's why he doesn't attack a dog and he wants to play with everyone. It's because he's got no threat in it. And then when a dog does threaten him by growling or shouting, he comes and sits next to me to say, look, go away, I'm not interested. I'm not going to fight you for my pack because you're no threat. I'm in charge. I run my pack, go away. So when dogs start growling at him, he just walks off and turns his back on them. It's so funny sometimes because the dog just looks and say, hey, hold on a minute, I'm having a go at you, and you're just sitting there laughing. But that's the way it works. So if a dog is content and happy and fed and watered and loved and sheltered and groomed and has all its needs met, then the dog has nothing to complain about. So when Guardian's done his job, when he's gone out for his walk and he knows that walk time is fun time, and then he comes back and he goes straight into job mode, he has his dinner, when we go to bed and we've done our routine. Now, if something happens, he knows when my care workers come, he knows what time, what time my 9 o'clock calls are, my safety calls, stuff like that. He knows the safety officers, social workers, he knows everybody, what days they come, what they don't come. So when someone comes, like say one of the carers might say, I can't come, I don't know, Friday, so I'll come Monday instead. When the day comes on that Friday, they don't turn up because we already know they're not coming, but he doesn't. He starts to get agitated and starts to parade up and down by the front door. Something's not right. Then he hears, and you could say, well, how does he know it's Friday? Well, it's simple. One, I get the bins emptied on a Friday. So he knows after the bin man's been, a few minutes later, my care worker knocks on the door. So that's how he knows it's Friday. On a Tuesday, I get ready to go out to do shopping and stuff. So I get a bath. I do certain things that I wouldn't do through the week, like certain clothes I wear to go out, put my mask on, my cover, my gloves, but I also put certain clothes, certain shoes, because when I take Guardian out, my boots are different than when I go shopping. So he knows by what my shoes are, which shoes I go for is where we're going. So if I put boots on, we're going for a walk. If I put my trainers on, we're going to the hospital. If I put my shoes on, I'm going shopping. Do you see what I'm saying? So he's learnt that. So these dogs have been with Summer most of her life, the adult dogs and that, and the puppies. So they would know everything about, but because there's no routine, the dogs are a bit confused on everything. But what they're not confused on is Summer is one of their pack members. They're also not confused on the rules. Summer never goes into the woods. So if Summer was going to run into the woods on her own, the dogs would stop her. Because they know the dangers in them woods. They also know that Summer's never come off the swing and gone into them woods. So they would stop her. Because it's part of their pack. Same as the pups. If they know that the woods is dangerous, they're not going to allow their pups to run into the woods. They're going to growl at them, stop them and send them back. Exactly the same. Same for kittens as well. If you see the mother kitten carrying the baby when she sees it in danger and puts it back into and says, no, stay there. The mother growls at them when they're arguing with each other and they bite too hard on one of the puppy's ears. The mother shouts at them. You should watch it. It's amazing to watch animals. But there's no way these dogs are wild. No chance are they wild. Zach, George, Caesar, everyone will tell you the same thing. So they're domesticated, which means that they will do what a domesticated dog does, which is see the human as part of their pack. If they were wild, they wouldn't see the human as part of their pack. They would see the human as just ready to eat. You know, they bring us food. We won't depend on them. We don't need them. But they don't. They hang around constantly. If they were wild, they wouldn't stay in a place where they weren't fed, watered and loved. They wouldn't. They'd go off, find a different thing to do. But because some of the boys feed them and play with them, and they're still domesticated. And even if they throw them scraps, it's still feeding them. So, are you ready for this? Why didn't Candice say, the last time I saw her, she was on the swing? Or this is what I'm saying, like scenarios, right? What would be the easier way where people wouldn't attack the parents? The last time I saw her was on the swing. I shouted her, Summer, come in for something to eat or whatever. Or it's getting late or whatever. Then she went no and ran off into the woods. So I got in my car, run down, and now I can't find her. I think the bears have got her. We've got bears in here. We've got snakes. She could have been bit. I need help. I need people out here now to find her. Because it would have been easier than saying it's an accident. It would have been easier saying that an animal had attacked her. Why not she said that? Because of 3 reasons. 1, if they do find Summer, they would check her clothes and her bones for animal saliva. Now, if Candice said, oh, I saw a bear taken, I heard it, and then they find Summer and they do tests, and there is no saliva of a bear on there, then the police are going to get suspicious, right? So let's say she says, okay, well, she was complaining because she was tired. She was hungry and tired. She wanted her dad. So I shouted at her and said, why don't you go down and go and get some sleep? And she ran off into the woods. And I think she might have been bitten by a snake or something. Why didn't she use the environment around her to use an excuse to why she's missing? It would be more plausible that a 5-year-old child who was scared or running away from someone would run into them woods to hide. Because like Chris said, they do play hide and seek. So where would Summer go to hide? In them woods where she plays hide and seek with her brothers. What if that's what they were doing? What if the grandmother shouted at them, can you shut up, because she was in a lot of pain? Could you just get out and shut up? Here's a candy now, piss off, because she's probably coming saying, Mummy, I'm hungry, Mummy, I'm hungry. The boys are coming, Mummy, I'm hungry. So the grandmother's gone, will you lot sod off? Here's a bit of candy now, sod off, because she's in a lot of pain. So she shouted at them. The mum said, just go out and play, I'll be with you in a minute. They've gone out to play hide and seek or whatever, and she's gone into the woods. It would have been easier. So why didn't Candy say that? Well, reason being is because then the police would interview the boys and say to the boys, did you play hide and seek? Did you, did your grandma shout at you? Did your mum shout at you? What happened for you to go into the woods? Why did you let someone go into the woods? So that wouldn't happen. The boys wouldn't tell them if they were doing hide and seek, because Don and Candice have had 2 weeks, which I think's wrong. The children should have been removed straight away, because Don and Candice have had so much time to frighten those boys. If you tell them you did hide and seek, it's your fault that Summer's gone. You should have been looking after her. They'll put you away for Summer's missing. If Summer comes back dead, it'll be your fault. They'll put you away in an adult prison with all them perverts. I'm saying, what if and why not? Right? This is what these people, why I'm never going to apologise to them, even if they're right or wrong, because these are sick people, remember. We're not dealing with parents here. We're dealing with selfish people. So what if they've told the boys? If they tell anyone the truth, they will go to prison. It'll be their fault because they were in charge of Summer. So no matter what the police say, because Don says I don't trust the police, what if they've told them the police are going to set you up? They're going to set one of us up, us lot, to get to us, to put us in prison. Because they want the land. Or something like that. They would take your dogs away, your bikes away. They've only got little bits of stuff, so what they've got, it's important to them. If you tell them that you sent Summer outside, or you took Summer outside and played hide and seek and she went missing, and the animals could have got her, you'll get the blame. So you can't say nothing. No matter what they say, you lot have got to be careful. A 9, 11 or 12-year-old, you know what I'm saying? They wouldn't say anything. They'd be too scared to say anything because of that. So that's why Candice didn't want to bring the boys into it, because the police would have concentrated on the boys, and eventually the boys would have seen that the police ain't that bad, actually. And if they would have said, well, Mummy and Daddy told me that you were going to put us in prison, it was going to be my fault because I looked after Summer. Now, if you remember in one of Don's things, he said, I don't know why, listen to me carefully, he said, I don't know why my eldest son said this, but he said, sorry, Daddy, I let you down. I was supposed to, it's my fault. And started crying. And I had to tell him, no, son, it's fine. But I don't know why he said that at that time. Don's given little bits of hints of what's happening in the house, right? And he's saying that his eldest son was blaming himself. But he don't know why he just come out with it out of nowhere. No child will come out of nowhere and just say, I'm sorry, it's my fault, and this lot and that lot. They wouldn't. Because they weren't in charge. There was 2 adults on the property. They weren't in charge. The oldest boy kept the 2 youngest boys safe all the way through, from 8 in the morning right the way through to 6:30. So there's no way that he would say that, because he knows he can look after them, because he's done it before and he's obviously done it that day. Do you see what I'm saying? But why don't they bring the boys and involve the boys and say, well, they were playing hide and seek, and next minute the boys come and I go, where's Summer? Oh, she went in to play with her toys and that's the last we saw of her. She can't say that, because then they'll concentrate on the boys instead of concentrating on looking round where she isn't. There's many potholes, many wells down there that she could have fell down. Or could she have been thrown down? Why isn't there more wild animals hanging around them areas? See, if I was a detective, I would put cameras up in them woods to see if more animals, snakes, bears, coyotes, were drawn to an area. Because they would smell flesh, would they not? So I would see if the activity of animals became more and more in that area. Did you see them more and more? Because out of all the time they were there, they came across one bear. So what if more coyotes, more animals, snakes and stuff started hanging around a certain area? That's where a body could be, right? But this is going to be the sick part. Warning, warning, close your ears now. What if the dogs are so hungry and Summer's passed away that the dogs have started eating Summer, and that's where they keep disappearing to? If they disappeared on the day Summer went missing, they must have followed Summer. They know where Summer is. So what if these dogs, because the parents are on their own now, there's no food for them because the parents aren't feeding them. The parents think they're wild, so they'll go off and eat somewhere else. They're too busy drinking themselves, and it's I, me, 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 me. They're not even looking after Summer's dog, which doesn't make sense because you've just lost your daughter and your boys. The closest thing that they love is these dogs. So you would take Summer's dog and treat it like it was part of Summer because you knew that meant a lot to him. Right? You wouldn't get rid of a teddy bear because they don't need it no more. You keep the teddy bear because it was something special to your kid, right? If a dog in your family was close to a family member that passed away, you would make sure that dog was loved and cared for because that's what you would think your family member wants you to do. Right? But the trick is you've got to listen carefully to Don. He says very clearly the dogs wasn't there by the time I got up there. So they were with Summer. They followed Summer. So is Summer still in them woods? So that's why they couldn't say it was wild animals, because if they do come across Summer, they would say, we've done DNA on Summer and she has no animal saliva on her. Are they hoping that the animals find Summer and attack her? Or is she semi-unconscious, semi-alive, semi-not alive, and that's why we're getting her on the spirit box? Because you don't have to be dead to be on the spirit box. You could be so heavily sedated that your body and heartbeat's so low that your spirit can jump up, and especially a child of 5 would run around still in a spirit form. So that's what could be happening. She could be dying of her injury. She could be having an infection, a blood poisoning infection or something like that, with cutting her legs or her feet or something. Why didn't he attack the peas? Why did he just attack 2 people that it was... Their stories are highly improbable. It would have been more likely them saying the wild animals took her, or the dogs on the property were so hungry they dragged her into the woods and we can't find her, and blame the dogs. They were starving. Next minute I know someone was swinging, and one of the dogs come picked her up and dragged her into the woods. We can't find her. Because again, if they do find Summer, all they have to do is check their clothes to see if there's any saliva, and if there isn't, well, the parent's going to get it. That'll be the evidence. So they're making it highly unlikely, but away. They're always talking about being away from the property. There's no reasoning with them. You can't say, okay, let's just say it was on the property. Let's just say someone did take it into the wood. No, that wouldn't happen. They dismiss it almost like they want to convince people to stay away from that area. They're working hard to blame people outside the area. So what do you guys think? Please leave your comments down below. Oh yeah, I've done it again. Please like, share and subscribe. If you don't like, please press the unlike button. And please comment down below on what you think. Don't forget to press the icon bell so it can go ding, ding, ding when I put up videos. I said that right, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. So, oh, before we go. People saying, why is Don's pictures and everyone's pictures wiped? Because this is what the police was expecting to happen, and it's happened. He's so predictable, it's unbelievable. He's going against the FBI. You got no chance, mate. But here it is. Are you ready? This is why the police wiped out them specific photographs. One, because it could be like of children and it's illegal for them to do certain photos. Two, it could be the fact because of this behaviour. Are you ready? This is of Don's Facebook today. Are you ready? This is his Facebook. He's put every photograph that's on his phone up onto Facebook. What he had on his phone. Did the police expect this in the first place? This was going to happen? Is that why they took the photos and deleted to stop them? Can they do that legally? Did Don threaten them he was going to do that as soon as they get the phones back? But this is why I feel the police had to wipe their phones and keep on disc them photographs, because them photographs was probably had some very good evidence in them. But they knew if they put them up, because so many people's interested in this case, people will figure it out. So they've had to pull the photos. Now, if Don's got a solicitor or a barrister or whatever they've got, why hasn't the barrister or solicitor put an order forward and said, why did you wipe the phone? We want to know the reasons. What's the reasons? And then Don and Candice would have come on saying the reasons. Of course they would. They want to. They want to tell us everything because they want to make us believe that they're good guys. And that's why the police don't want them speaking out. That's why the police want to keep them shut up. Because the more and more they're talking, the more and more they're telling us a lot more than we should know. Do you see what I'm saying? They won't shut up. They want you to believe. They can't stand the thought that somebody out there believes that they're bad parents, that they're bad people. So they're going to try and convince everybody how good parents they are, how great the kids was, how happy they were. Any way they can to convince as many people as they can. This is Chip. This is Mystery Angels. Thank you so much for your subscriptions. Thank you for the person who says they like my accent. I don't know exactly what the accent is, exactly. I think it's part Scouse, part Cockney. I'm not sure. But stay safe. Keep your family safe. We'll see you in a while, crocodile.